cheer for your Sydney Swans.
Welcome back to A Bevy of Bloods, a fan podcast of the Sydney Swans Football Club.
So to all you loyal Swans out there, you just can't get enough of the red and the white.
Fluff up your tail feathers and settle in for a potentially biased yarn about all things to do with our beloved Bloods.
G'day there, Signets and Swanlings. Welcome back to A Bevy of Bloods. You're joined as always by the crew from Sydney. I'm Harps. I've got Noddy on the line, and back from his Australia-wide tour, superfan Sam.
That's right, you lovely, loyal Swans fans. Today we're going to be talking about a big win against the Giants and look ahead to the game against the Bombers. And remember, if you like what you hear, give us a follow. Righto, let's kick things off with a quick game recap.
Oh my gosh, so much to get through. Sunday afternoon, 39,500 fans at the G. Beautiful day. Got it over the Giants. Goals raining in from everywhere. 11 different goal kickers. Probably 11 plus different fights in the Sydney Stoush. Big first quarter, big last quarter. 12 goals, 15-87. Beat the Giants, 10 goals, 13-73. Nice to finally sing the song at home and get the win. It was good to get the positive vibes back on Oxford Street and around the ground. Noddy, I know you have so many things you want to talk about, but let's just start simple. Give me 3 words, mate. How did you find the game?
I'm going to have to give you 3 or 4 or 5 versions of the 3 words. So I know that's about 15 or so. I'm going to go with sing that song. First time this year. Sweet to sing the song after the game with the win. Next one, it's hammer time. We'll come back to that. 7 Nation Army. We'll work through that one as well. Swans, 30th, Stoush. I'm going to go 30-20-10. That's Stoush's Swans, Giants. And then Dirty 30, Derby 30, Derby 30. That's 6 words, but these are... So I was unable to really rein it in this time because I'm that overcome with joy and happiness in the win. How good was it, Sammy?
There's another 3 words here. I think I'm stealing this from someone, but we want more.
We want more. Yes.
More of that.
You enjoy it, Sammy? You're usually like a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs, but even you looked quite relaxed, I thought, on Sunday.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far. I think I was pretty stressed, but no, it was very good. I love beating the Giants. Unlike all of us at the Bevy, I despise them. So it was very good to see them lose, especially when they weren't expecting it.
Yeah, wonderful game. Like, great game to watch. I love the goals coming from everywhere. I mean, barely an off performance to talk about, to be honest. And I mean, scuffles and fights breaking out from minute 1, right? High contacts, all kinds of stuff. Anyway, heaps to get into.
The Stoushes. How many Stoushes were there?
The Stoush really delivered, I must say. That was the first time I felt the genuine heated rivalry amongst those guys. It was good to see.
Loved it.
Noddy, let's just start big picture. What did you think about the game? Now, tell us your reflections on the game. What did you enjoy?
Well, yeah, I just think after the Suns game, I think the guys that are left out there, because a lot was spoken about the injury list and then actually reflecting on that and saying, hang on, there's still a really good core of our top line players, but they just weren't. They didn't, 12 consecutive goals against the Suns second half onward. They really needed to bounce back. They sort of need to do a bit of soul searching, and it looked like they did, really, because I loved the effort and I loved the intent, and I think we played 4 quarters. Like, we had a great first, an average second. I was a little bit nervous that it was playing out how it was against the Suns, but it was a intensely fought third and an exciting fourth where both teams are a bit wayward, but we never trailed. We always led, and I just thought it was a mature response after a shaky performance the week before. So that's probably what I like the most.
We're going to talk about him later, Rowbottom, but that quote you're talking about was Rowbottom, wasn't it? He said,
"That's right.
Putting aside the injuries, we have enough talent in the team to win these games." And I mean, we'll give you a little preview of what's coming later, but he was amongst the points in our Bob medal. He had a great game, we thought. Sammy, you've been all over the country watching the guys. What did we do right this week? Why did we win this week?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I don't know. I think that like we sort of got pumped in some ways. I thought the second quarter we really got dominated, but we lost in most key statistical areas. So we lost disposals by about 50. We lost contested possession by 30 and uncontested by 20. We got beaten in the clearances, not by much, but still we got beaten. We lost the where am I going with this? What else did we lose?
Free
We lost our
free kicks. That's where I was going. Thank
on
you.
that resurfaced SCG.
Grassgate.
This
Grassgate deepens.
This is true, but no, it was the free kicks I was getting at. We lost the free kick count like comprehensively, yet we were in control the whole time. And although I don't think we played anywhere near our best football, I think maybe the effort that we put in as a team, and, we still won the tackles and we still, won in marks and won in marks inside 50. So maybe we controlled the game a little bit better. But I genuinely, looking at the stats, I don't actually know how we won. And I really don't think we played anywhere near our best. But in saying that, we did do a pretty good job. I think we really played 3 out of 4. I wouldn't say we played much in the second, but I think the other 3 quarters were really, really good. Although I think in the last quarter we really could have put it to bed if we took some easy chances from players that are in the team to kick.
Yeah, big time. I reckon you said it there, Sammy. I actually think the inside 50 mark differential was quite critical in this game. Because it really we've done this a lot this year. It's like, how atrocious have our inside 50 entries been? Just bomb it long on the head, no one crumbing. Just it looks messy. But this Aaron Francis again.
I was going to say, how much do we put down to Aaron Francis's lead? He was leading very well, wasn't he?
Yeah, his leads into space, and he burnt Sam Taylor, who's like one of the best fullbacks in the game. He burnt him several times. Just clever leading into space. And I just think that our, the fact that we were 19-8 or whatever it was in forward 50 marks, they were pretty easy. There were a few cheapies, right, where Francis and someone else kicked away to someone closer for a shot on goal. But that's smart, and it's different from what we've been doing, which is that long bomb to no avail. I don't know. I just thought we looked more dangerous going forward. Well, we were going forward, which was great, because we had some good pressure of our D50 coming out of D50, and we had like a lot of our defenders stand up, and we just seemed to be more damaging as we were going inside. And honestly, Ginger Prince and the Hammer, they're doing it again.
Yeah.
Joel,
I mean,
the Hammer Hamling. On
your point there, like last 3 weeks, I think we've all been and many have been frustrated by execution of skills. Right, skills have let us down last few weeks. We've been fumbling, missing kicks, tackles not sticking, and decision making, like just poor kicks to space, kicks to the wrong person. Both of those seem to turn 180 degrees. I thought. Like, I mean, you mentioned Francis and Hamling. I really like both of them. I think it was both in the fourth quarter, actually, and both to Jordan. Yeah, both to Jordan. Both kicking off when they had a shot and thinking, I don't think I've got this. Jordan makes a lovely lead, like just good decisions, leads to goals, wins your games, right?
Yeah, big time. And I think we were saying, like GWS are pretty high scoring team, apart from I think the Crows last week kept them about 40 or whatever.
Yeah,
but to keep them, I think we took our chances at more than they took theirs, because I think, Sammy, you were saying it was inside 50s even. We were marginally more accurate because of the goals to behind. Both teams had 2 posters. Both had 2 or 3 rushed. It was pretty even. But I just think we took more chances. That fourth quarter was 4 goals, 5 each. So both sides had a chance to either come back and overtake or put it to bed, and neither did. But it's lucky that we had that lead the whole way. So that's why I just go back to, I thought it was a mature 4-quarter effort, other than probably the first 15 to 20 minutes of the second. or maybe it was the second half of the second. The second quarter wasn't great. Let's just put it like that.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think like on that point that you made there, at the end of the game, like we really could have put it to bed, and they could have taken it, but we just held firm.
Mm.
And we kind of held firm throughout the game. Like I think we did well to stop momentum on their part. And I think there was times where they were looking really dangerous, and they had plays where it was like, wow, like they can literally just dice through us. But all in all, I think we just held the fort. I don't know, like we just held it all together.
It's a good segue, Sammy, into the Giants. I mean, very good side, right? So let's talk about them for a minute. I mean, a lot of possessions off the halfback flank, a lot of good ball through there. Noddy, what do you think of the Giants? So I expected more from them, to be honest. I didn't think they were their best, and a lot of the players I expected to shine were almost absent.
Yeah, I mean, they've still got most of their starting team. They do have a few youngsters coming through. I thought Fonte was really cool. But Callahan is a player. He's a gun. The amount of times I saw him D50 and then forward 50 and just carving handball, gives, receives, and beautiful ace outs. Like he was excellent. He was really stand out for, and Tom Green in the guts. But I've been a massive Tom Green fan pretty much since day one. Not the Tom Green fan club in Monica, but just really really love how he goes about it. But yeah, those two guys, Stringer in the fourth was excellent. I mean, his X factor, the package. So yeah, I don't know. I just think it wasn't a high pressure game, but it was. I think the way we were playing got into their heads somehow. They didn't look very confident. When they're going for set shots, and they had a lot of set shots, probably 50 on angles, or 45 plus on angles. So that's a tick to the defensive efforts, pushing them out. I don't know. I just think it was a big win against a top 8 team, a contender. You would think by the end of the home and away season, and it was just critical to win. We'd lost 3 on the trot, hadn't had a win at home yet, and we had to bounce back after that really hapless showing on the Gold Coast. So for me,
we also haven't played well in our last 3 either. So it's not just that we hadn't won, but we didn't play good footy against Collingwood, really. We didn't play good footy against Port until the last quarter.
That's right.
We didn't play a second half against the Gold Coast.
That's right. Yeah, that's a good point. So with all that in mind, to get the win the way we did, I thought is really pleasing. And I think that everyone can hold their head up high, because I thought that everyone, from starting 22 to Gussie Sheldrick, who came on, like everyone gave it their all, and it was really pleasing.
Sammy, we're going to look ahead next few fixtures and maybe talk through your travel.
Before we do, there's one thing I do want to touch on that I'm a little bit frustrated by before we move on.
Go for it.
I think
is it number 15 Nichols, the umpire?
No, but that guy's been horrible for years. But no. What I'm frustrated by is, I think, and I've been frustrated at different parts of our team all year, but the part of the team I was probably giving the most credit to has started to really frustrate me the last few weeks. I really think our ball players, the players that are in the team to not win in the contest, or to to be the ones that get the handball, receive, and move the ball. Like I'm frustrated by pretty much all of them. And don't get me wrong, I don't dislike any of these players, and I actually thought some of them played well on the weekend, and some of them played well in the last few weeks. But just in general, like the Juzzy McInerney's, the Ollie Florence, the Jake Lloyds, I think, Riley Bice, probably to a lesser extent in Blakey and Roberts, but sometimes some of the things they do it just seems like sometimes they're trying to either go for, try to be too flashy, or they just don't move the ball anywhere near quick enough. And you could probably chuck even Braden Campbell and Will Hayward into it at some times. There's been a couple of times where Braden's got caught holding the ball in the last few weeks, and it's like, come on. There's times where Will Hayward's just done some pretty average things. I think, Bice, Blakey, and Robbo can sometimes just either be, trying to just bite off more than they can chew. And then you've got Lloyd, Juzzy, and Ollie, who sometimes just look like they're making horrible decisions after taking 10 seconds to do it. So it's sort of a shout out to those guys in a sense. But I do really like all of them as players, but it's something that has been on my mind.
Sorry, to be clear, you're still frustrated, or you liked the game on Sunday? You thought they improved?
I still think some of them played well, but I still think that on Sunday there was still some tendencies of some of those problems in there.
Yeah, that's probably fair. Yeah.
I mean, I've in various in episodes this year, I've given rockets to, in particular, Wilbur and Ollie, but it's only because I know what they're capable of.
100%.
And I see them as like they're our senior players now, especially with all our other senior players out. Like they're 160 plus gamers, almost 170. And, you know, you look into these guys to lead the way, and I just don't think they were. But I think that everyone had a good game this game. I think everyone bounced back. I do think Juzzy and Florent were, if you watch the replay, if you do watch it, they were pretty active. And I just think, as Harps has already said, I think our skills were just so much better. We were cleaner. We were making better decisions. I think some of the frustrating things were those behinds in the fourth. And some of those players were in that list. But Rowie was one of those guys as well. But you just want those senior guys to step up and hit and get the goal when we need it. But, you know, same could be said of the Giants, right? You know, so it goes both ways. But, yeah, I definitely know what you mean, Sammy, certainly this year. But I feel like the game on the weekend was a step in the right direction. And, yeah, having watched that pretty closely again from start to finish, it was pleasing. It was I think that's something to really launch over the next month. What I'm calling Mad May through to the bye. It's a critical month of madness where we just have to get the dubs. We got to get the dubs. The dub.
We can run with that, Noddy, and let's get into it. I will just say it's something you said there caught my ear, Noddy, which is having watched us play the Giants many times. They have often bullied us. You know, they've physically pushed us around, beaten us up to some degree, right? And I thought it was pleasing to see us be the aggressors. You know, I wouldn't put us down as a naturally aggressive team, but we were out there starting scuffles. Yeah, and you said it rocked them off their game a bit, and I hadn't thought of it that way. Maybe it did, but look, they were up for it from front to back. Everyone was up for it, and I agree. There are plenty of players who aren't at their peak. But Sam, to your point, there's nothing wrong with getting a really good win, you know, when you're not at your best. And that's what good teams do. So, Mad May. All right. I like that, Nonny. We're going to run with that. Before we get into what's coming up through May and indeed up to the bye, nice little run of important games there against some teams around us on the ladder. Easier games, you know, arguably. Let's do the Bob medal. For the listeners out there, I will say that we have 3, 6, 9. We had 15 potential Bob medalists. But let's start at the bottom. 1 point, Sammy, Rampy.
So yeah, we put Rampy down for 1. He probably could have had 2. To be fair, he was very good. But yeah, he had 8 tackles. He had 12 touches at 75% disposal efficiency. And more importantly, he blanketed the rat that is Toby Green. So it was a very, very good game. I think he turned back the clock. It's probably been times this year where he has looked a little bit, I don't know, maybe his age has been more apparent, but not on the weekend. He was very, very good.
Yeah, I don't think that's Toby's preferred name, just for the record. But yes. Toby
the Rat Green. I think, and if Rampy's on him, and I think he was on him most of the game, I think Francis swung on him a couple of times, but it was primarily Rampy on Green. And to give Rampy the point there, you look at Green's numbers, 13 disposals, 0 goals, 2 behind. So it's not really about stats for him, it's the impact that he has. And I think Rampy just got in his head, got under his skin. He couldn't get going, and that in itself is just priceless. So huge.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the best players in our game, right? And he was almost anonymous, to your point.
Yeah.
2 points. He's had a lot of points this season. Rowbottom. Actually, we ran the stats, and the stats. I mean, Sammy, you had a good one about I think goal involvements. Maybe cover that in a second. But after the bevy left the ground on Sunday, and collectively we all said we thought Rowbottom was one of the best on ground. He was one of the first names that kept coming up. Thought he was calm, always hardworking. Sammy, I think he said he was involved in eight of the goals. That's a very good involvement, right?
8 scores. I think the thing is he only had 14 touches,
Yeah.
and of that, over 50% were score involvements. Of those 14 touches, 8 of them were contested. He had seven tackles, so he's tackling again, which was equal second best on ground. From those 14 touches, he had 5 clearances, and from those 14 touches, he had, he was in the top 4 for the Swans of meters gained at 452. So he just had a really good game. He could have kicked a few more goals too. So there's areas of improvement. But another thing I think that we should note is we got smashed in the second quarter. And Rowie actually didn't touch the ball in the second quarter. So it just shows, like, in a sense, he's probably a bit of a barometer. And that when he was playing well, we were playing well. And I don't know, his stats definitely don't read the best in the team by any means, although there were those I guess, efficiencies that we mentioned. But I think it was just his impact. Like, he did, I don't know, like he passed the eye test with flying colours. I almost thought he was going to win the medal.
Interesting point, because I don't think he touched the ball for a long time in quarter 3 last week against the Suns. Also got flogged in as well, right?
Not many of the Swans on the ground got their hand on the ball in that game. But
did we have a disposal in the third quarter?
-5.
You're not wrong. Actually, he did only touch it once in that third quarter last week. Great inside hubs.
Sammy, I'll add to your stats there, and I think this adds to it. He had 33 pressure acts, which is like best on ground. And the Swans were first, second, and third in this. Cleary had 26 and Warner had 26. So he was 7 clearing pressure acts. He was our second highest tackle getter. So, going to the game, it's sometimes hard to see who goes to the toss, but I'm assuming Rowie was captain again.
He was.
So, like, I'm sick of having to ask this. Just make him captain. Like, he steps up each week as a captain. He's hard at it. He does what he needs to. He gets the boys and he carries them. And yeah, kick 1, 2. I mean, if he kicked 3 goals here, he's probably up for a Brownlow vote, really, in terms of the game he had. But yeah, I just thought, he was. And how succinct was he in the speech afterwards? What was it? 3 key points. Thanks, boys. Thanks, Giants. Thanks, fans. Up the Bloods. Can't use Swans.
Up the Bloods. Actually, I had a question. I was reading about him on the train home because he feels like he's been around forever. 125 games. I was shocked to find he's only 24. I mean, how far can he go, right? He could be if he's a one-club man, he'd go all the way, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, if his body holds up, he's in a pretty hard-working area of the ground, and he's hard at it, right? How many cheek gashes does this guy get? But yeah, like, certainly he's tracking very well. He got a lot of games under his belt young, but that just shows you he pushed for he was required. He made himself required. So he's certainly on track for 250. I mean, you don't want to speak too soon, obviously, touch wood. Hope all goes well. But yeah, let's hope he has a long and glorious career in the red and white.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked a number of times about leaders this season, and he's a leader. And at 24, I mean, as you say, captain. 24, all those games, hard yards, great effort again, Robo.
Guys, I absolutely called this in like the first year he played. I heard an interview with him. I was like, this guy's a captain. And here we are. I wish I'd been more vocal on that. I wish I'd like timestamped it, capsuled it, or socialed it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Sometimes
we have had, I think, like 9 captains in the last 5 years, to be fair.
But I called specifically anyway. I don't. No one's going to remember this. It's very clear for me. Anyway, I'm stoked that he's captain, and I'm stoked that he's deserving of it.
This is actually before I knew you guys, actually, so I can't vouch for that at all. But I do believe you. But if we want to talk about something I called very early, then we should get to 3 votes.
Yep, he's right. Drum roll, please. He did it again. The $1 million man, Sammy Chad Warner.
I think he's 1.5 million now, actually. But yeah, look, Chad had a game, and all of us walked away when he won the medal going, Chad, really? Not that he played poorly by any means, but it just didn't seem like he was at his best. But I think what is clear is when you look at the stats, it really shows, maybe why we missed this game. But he had 15 contested possessions, which was second most to Tom Green, who had an extra 10 touches on him. So it was most for the Swans, I would believe. He had 9 score involvements, 579 meters game, 2 goal assists, 10 inside 50s, which were all top for the game, those stats. And then 24 touches was second for the Swans, and he did that at 79% disposal efficiency. So it really shows that he was winning it in and under, and that probably goes unrecognized in a sense. That didn't affect his score involvements, his meters gains, his inside 50s, or his disposal efficiency. So it's a game that we're probably not accustomed to, because I feel like he normally gets probably easier touches on the outside. That inside game is just outstanding, and it's really good to see him back to his best. And I did call it. I think in his third game, this guy's going to be a great player, and he became my favourite player pretty quickly. And now he's an absolute superstar, and I feel like I'm a bandwagoner, but I got there first. So,
mate, you were there before Damien Barrett, mate. He got into your bandwagon. You called Chad for Brownlow, as you said after game 3. So,
and I know, Sammy, that kind of outside of the boot slice kick he does that you dislike. Did you see that? I didn't notice that. Did you see that on the weekend?
I think I saw it a couple of times, but it's not. It's fine when it comes off. It's just really frustrating when it doesn't, especially after that Hawthorn game in round 1. I thought that was one of his just most mature performances, because he just didn't do that. He just hit his kicks. But no, look, he did have a good game. But I think the thing, and this will go with the honourable mentions, is that the whole team did play really well.
Yeah.
Let's get into them. I mean, we honestly, listeners, we have a list of, I think, 10 names here. So, Noddy, you want to pick one of those 10? Who else do we want to talk about?
I've already spoken about him. This is in no particular order. I just feel really passionate about Ginger Prince and the Hammer. I just think the way that they've just taken the ball by the horns and run with it. Am I mixing two analogies there? Taking the ball and run with it. That's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
The ball has horns in this sense. Look, I just think that he is our best lead up forward at the moment, Aaron Francis, and the Hammer came in to play a role, got picked over Laddams as that sort of extra tall, and we played him forward, and he just got under the skin of Jack Buckley and Sam Taylor. He was chirping away at them. He was chip, chip, chip. You could see it. I loved it. Every time we got a goal, he was just niggling. He was the niggler. He was Joel the Hammer, chirpy, chirpy niggler. It was awesome. I loved it. And his first goal, let's talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, I must say, I didn't realize. I knew he had. I knew he had a premiership. I had no idea he hadn't scored a goal, so I didn't celebrate at the time, other than just as a goal. Did you guys know it was his first goal?
Honestly, I didn't.
I guess I just assumed it because he was a key defender, but I didn't acknowledge it in the moment. I just was screaming like everyone else. He'd hit the post twice prior to that.
Twice, yeah.
So he could have ended up with 3 goals. But this is the thing: he couldn't crack into the team last year, but he's down. He was in the VFL playing 30-odd games, scoring almost 20 goals, just as a key defender, right? He had a pretty good career with the Bulldogs. Obviously, that 2016 is a bit of a asterisk to his efforts now. But no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, couldn't get a run on at Freo, a string of injuries. And here's what a role player. And as Jules said, defenders on defenders. What a stroke of genius from Coxie. I mean, I know there aren't too many more moves he can pull, levers he can pull at the moment, but these guys are stepping up and playing for their career and really playing for our season, if you think about it. I don't know. I just think I've been super stoked with their efforts. So
maybe I'll just do one honourable mention because I think it relates to the Hammer. Melican, again, very calm. I think we all very happy with what he did behind the ball. He adds a real maturity down there.
Yeah.
He's obviously out now for 3 weeks for that reckless, should we say? I think it was called severe as opposed to dangerous. I'm not sure the tribunal's ranking. Anyway, he's going to miss 3 weeks for that shot. But look, before that and around that, he still had a very good game. He's matured into one of our best defenders, I think. And I say that because I think I'd expect the Hammer to go back and fill his spot. So maybe no more goals for our man. But
well, we know he can swing. He can definitely swing.
We know he can swing.
He can swing that hammer. Come on, guys. Come on. That's got to be it. All right.
Do you know what's wild? Just sorry to go back to this, but Joel Hamling, as a key defender for most of his career, has more Brownlow votes than he has goals kicked. He polled 2 Brownlow votes in a game in 2018, which Freo won by 3 points. And I don't know, he had 20 touches and must have blanketed their forwards pretty well. But anyway, on to the other honourable mentions.
Sammy, just pause. How do you know that, mate?
I was just having a look at his stats, and it said, I was looking at AFL tables for that. That was not off the top of my head.
You thought it was a Sammy Rain Man moment, didn't you?
I
didn't
pulled it out of the vault.
Casino.
Yeah, no, not there. So the other honourable mentions was we had JJ. I don't know who he actually tagged. Probably would have been Whitfield, but he kicked 2 crucial goals.
Yeah,
and went at 89% efficiency.
Just super mature.
Sammy Wicks had a great game. He was, probably the closest to the votes for me.
Yeah, so good.
Well, actually, and Pelican was very good, as you mentioned. Matty Roberts, Juzzy had a good game. He was very efficient too.
He was, wasn't he?
Goal kicking, and Heaney in there as well. Noddy, did you chat about Cleary? Because I think you've got some things to say.
I just want to say 24 disposals, 10 contested possessions at 79% for Juzzy, and a stack of centre bounce attendances. Anyway, very good.
CBAs, yeah.
Should have scored that snap though.
Yeah, I know. He should have scored both those goals.
Out.
Mate, if he scored both of those goals, he'd probably be in the top 3.
100%. That's just. I mean, we were talking about this, right? We know these players are good enough to, when they put it together, they're going to be able to beat anyone.
Yeah. Heaney was great, just because he's Heaney and consistent. Caden Cleary, just the effort, his run through the middle, finding himself in space, bursting out of the centre square. That effort, it was probably like a 70-odd metre run. It was in the 4th. Ollie Florent really didn't have anywhere to go. He was rebounding and just sort of kicked it long to the wing and towards pretty much where the Giants fans sit almost. And I think it was McInerney and Cleary. Juzzy was closer. Cleary was further away, and he just bust a gut to get there and basically helped the ball over the line. And that was, I don't know if it was going to be deliberate, but it could have been. So I just thought that was a phenomenal effort at that point in the game. Just worked really hard. And I think a lot of Swans fans saying he hasn't been ready, he's not ready for AFL. I mean, look at him. He's strong, he's tough, he gives it his all. He's a Sydney boy. I think I've got huge raps on him. I think he's going to go far.
And what's he only 8 games, 10 games? Can't be many.
Yeah, sub 10, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got a lot of growth in him, hasn't he? Yep.
Big time. Did we give Robbo? Robbo was great, courageous going back. I think Blakey had better effort as well. I think he had a couple of smothers, had a couple of runs. I think everyone answered the critics after last week. And it was great.
Delightful. It was. Well, look, let's look ahead. Mad May. Some hot and cold teams in there. I mean, some dangerous teams, right? Carlton can turn it on. Essendon can turn it on. Adelaide, good side. So, I mean, not a fait accompli by any means. Sammy, I mean, you'll be travelling to all these. Well, you're in Melbourne next week and Melbourne for a few weeks, actually, aren't you?
No, I go to Melbourne tomorrow and I come back. Then I go to Melbourne again. Yeah.
And how you feeling? How you feeling about the next 5 games before the bye? Then you confident? You think you happy with what you saw? Can we kick on? What are you feeling?
1 week at a time. But I think if we have a chance at getting into the 8 this season, it needs to come in the next 5 weeks.
100%.
On like on current form, you couldn't say Essendon, who have a fair bit of injuries, are in like that we couldn't beat them. It seems like they're probably at a similar level to where we are at the moment. Carlton are very up and down. Melbourne, I don't know what's going on with them. They have probably looked a bit better the last couple of weeks, but you'd hope that we can hopefully put in a good showing against them. Then you've got Adelaide, who are very good, but they've also been a bit inconsistent. And then you've got Richmond, and like they've been a bit of a surprise packet as well, to be fair. So there's 5 winnable games, but I wouldn't say any of them are gimmies in the way that we're playing, and the inconsistency that we've shown, and probably the inconsistency that all of those teams have shown too. Like, all of them can play good football, and all of them have struggled at times. So it's a big opportunity for us to hopefully get the ledger square, or even get ahead of the ledger. And if we could go in ahead of the ledger and get go on a bit of a run, get some players back from injury, and then go from there and make a charge, it makes all the early season losses I guess forgettable, and that we can show that we've been able to turn it around and march on, and that would be great. But let's see. As I said, one game at a time. There's no easy wins in this competition.
Yeah, and Noddy, you're our resident physician. I know you've got a keen eye on the injury situation. Who's coming back? I think in that 5-week period, Joel might come back. Taylor Adams. What are your thoughts? I mean,
Get
these players back in as they come online, or case by case?
I don't know. I think they'll have to earn it, because if the team that played against the Giants can continue to perform as they did and just eke out wins, then I wouldn't necessarily tinker with that, unless it was like a top line player. And I don't know. I mean, I couldn't drop Francis or Hamling based on their form, even if, and I don't know where Joel Amati's recovery is 2 weeks away. So, yeah, look, same with Taylor Adams. It's probably the Cleary, Corey, Sheldrick, and then there's Henley in there as well. So those guys haven't done too much wrong. It's just youth and inconsistency. Sheldrick needs more game time. Oh my God, this guy is just
big fan of Sheldrick, aren't you?
Oh,
yeah,
Gus.
He got a goal again. I mean,
he's on for 10 minutes and he's just charging at everything, kicking a goal. Like he needs a full game. But I don't know who you're going to drop there. Maybe
question without notice, and I won't. Obviously it's a game by game situation, because if we were getting these players back after the Gold Coast game, we'd bring them all back in.
Yeah.
And then this week, we would say most would struggle to get a game again.
Yeah.
Who of the players that are out injured would you consider top line players that walk straight back into this team
if they were fit?
If they were fit, straight away.
Goulden, Papley, Mills.
Goulden, Papley, Mills.
Yeah.
Okay. So you'd say for Robbie Fox, Cunningham, Adams, Amati, and Logan, they would all go back and have to earn their spot.
I think so.
I don't think necessarily. I think the names you gave, Noddy, I agree. I think they'd walk into a lot of teams, not just ours, but I think they would walk into our team. And the others, I don't necessarily think you'd have to earn your spot again, right? I don't think. I mean, Cunningham's very valuable, right? Logan, I think we're hoping big things from him, right? So I think it's a discussion. I would find ways to get him back in, and that's why you have the youth and the depth, right? And it's great to get the games into these young players. But I agree with what you're saying, Noddy. I think there are 3 kind of walk-ons, And then I think there's a second tier of players who I'd probably put back in if they were fit, pending a VFL game or something like that.
Yeah, and you got to just think of the form of the players that they're replacing, and whether or not that's warranted at the moment. But again, it's week by week. Obviously, as Semi said, after the Suns, I was bringing in everyone. But I think more realistically, with the forced Melican out, then as Hupsy said, Hammers go back, and then probably Lads comes in, I think. But
had a good game in the VFL, I
Crystal
think.
Pete,
A couple of goals. Yep.
So, and he hasn't really been doing too much wrong. Everyone had a shocker against the Suns, so it was what it was. Anyway, we're back and forth to Melbourne over the next 5 weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Arvo night. I like that. All Saturday. No, Saturday, Friday, Sunday, Saturday. So I don't know. Yeah, winnable. If we can miraculously, touch wood, get all W's, then we're sitting 8 and 5, and that changes everything. But you don't expect to win everything. But the more we can bank now, the nicer it becomes, or the potentially smoother it becomes when the cavalry returns, as everyone likes to say. But if we hone in on Essendon, because that's our next task, the Bombers have been sort of a bit hit and miss. Sammy, you said 11th, 4 wins, 3 losses. The wins have come against Port by 12, Melbourne by 39, West Coast by 2, North by 3. And the losses have been Hawks by 28, Adelaide by 61, Collingwood by 41. So I don't know. Does that strike you as? Yeah, I think this. I think this is a winnable one, but it's not certainly not guaranteed. They've got a few challenges with their injuries at the moment. There's a sickening ankle injury from Harrison Jones. Anyone see that? Absolutely gross. Hope he's okay. Ridley's got another hammy. He basically just needs to buy 2 more hammies, I think. Gresham's got a groin. Parrish always seems to be a week away with another soft tissue issue. I don't think he's related to the Reeds, but could be. Missing both starting rucks for the rest of the season, so Goldie is coming in and just sucking in the big ones. They're going to get probably Caldwell back, which is a big in. They got a first-round draft pick, Hayes, key defender, Oliverti coming back, Menzies, and Shield is thereabouts. So, I don't know. I think Essendon away, the Swans and the Bombers is usually a bit of a shootout. But, yeah, I definitely think if we can bring the same intent and effort as we showed against the Giants, then, yeah, we should at least put in a good showing. But, yeah, for me, no changes other than forced through Melican.
And you think Adams for Melican?
I think probably Adams, but I would like to see Sheldrick get a full game. So I don't know if I don't know who comes to the sub, whether it's Corey, because he had a pretty mature game as well. Remember, he kicked that goal when he needed to.
I was shocked that he was subbed as well. I was.
You were shocked, yeah. But I mean, I'm not going to take Cleary off. Just so it's funny because these guys are all playing well, but who do you take off? Do you put Lloyd? Do you give him a rest? He's probably too important for the structure. Juzzy, Florent.
I wouldn't mind seeing a Will Hayward. Not that he had a bad game on the weekend, but true. I wouldn't mind seeing sort of or a Braden, even like one of those two being put into the sub. I also wouldn't mind seeing Tom Hannelly come back in.
Well, he didn't do too much wrong, to be honest.
As a smaller option rather than Laddams coming back in. I don't know if it would really work out, but I don't know. I really like his energy, and I thought there was times on the weekend where the ball dropped and it just felt like we didn't have a smaller option waiting there to crumb, because I think that Cleary and Braden are very much pressure forwards, and Hayward, I just don't know what he does for 4 quarters sometimes. Not to say he's not a pressure forward, but sometimes he's a hit-up forward, sometimes he's pressure, sometimes he's not there. So I just feel like, when Hanley's in the team and we are getting the ball inside 50, he really plays a role. But in saying that, we also would need a relief ruckman for Grundy, and if the Dostridge wasn't up forward, then it's just stuck with Aaron Francis, and as much as he's been great, that still leaves me with concern.
I think we need to go another genuine tall because I think we were lucky against the Giants in that Briggs is the key ruck and their backup ruck is Brown and he's 188 centimetres and he did pretty well, to be honest, when he was on. He's very athletic. But if you look at the Dons, even with their two key rucks out, they run with Goldie. They've got 2 metre Peter who can chop in, and then they're probably going to put one of their Zach Reed, Ben Mackay. They're all 200 centimetres. Like they've got genuine tools. So if you don't bring in Laddams, then I just wonder if we're a little bit short. But maybe that's the strategy. We come in with just the Mosquito fleet and get it done. Because honestly, yeah, I think that sort of quartet of Henley, Corey, Cleary, and Sheldrick, I would put in there. They're all doing right the things that they need to do to really put it on the selection committee. So yeah, it's going to be interesting.
So maybe let's just be realistic. I love that phrase, mosquito fleet, by the way.
Yeah.
5.
I'm not claiming it, but I'll use it.
You said there are 5 W's, right? That would be the most optimistic outcome, right? Let's say 3, right? 3. I think 3 wins. We get to the bye at 6 and 7.
Yep.
Would you be happy with that, boys? Is the season set up for success, or is that not enough?
I think at least 3 we would need. I'd probably be happy with 4. I'd say we need at least 3 at a minimum. If we don't get 3, we're in real trouble.
I'd rather a positive win-loss
differential
if we can.
One point I think is very interesting that I want to touch on before we move on is from our remaining 15 games, we only play top 8 teams 5 times. We play Brisbane, Adelaide, Dogs, Geelong, and Giants once. And then we play every single team, obviously not ourselves, in the bottom half of the 8. In the bottom half of the ladder, or the bottom 10 teams in the ladder. And we play Essendon twice and all the other teams once. So we have an opportunity to really, set our season up from here based on the current ladder position.
Yeah.
And, we've already beaten one team that's currently in the 8. And, one of the other teams that we've beaten as well is the closest team to the 8th, in Freo in 9th. So we have, the season is still in our control, and we've probably weathered the roughest storm that we've had in terms of, playing the top 4 teams in the comp. So, we really can push on from here.
It's all subject to Mad May, but yeah, definitely it's, if we can really, dig in for this month, and I think Richmond is in June, but yeah, it really does set us up. And if we can get as many wins as we can, then it just makes it a little bit more realistic in the second half. But we come away with majority loss, then it makes it extremely difficult. And I think it comes down to mathematics probably. But you obviously want to try and avoid that as much as possible. But yeah, I think it's definitely doable, but it's going to be certainly challenging. But I think we took a massive step in the right direction against the Giants, and it's all ahead of us.
Yeah, another point to touch on. Sorry, one last thing. But from our 14th game against Port Adelaide, we only leave Sydney 4 times after that, and we've got another 9 games. So if we can start setting the SCG up as well to be a bit more of a stronghold against Carlton and Adelaide, then we will have more games at home. As in, I think there's 5 at the SCG. 5 at the SCG and 1 against the Giants. So, we do have a good run home where we don't have to travel as much because we've already done that for the last 5. Well, some of us have done that for the last 5 weeks. 6 weeks.
Making up for all that time away in April. Probably a good segue actually to the SCG. SCG was pumping on the weekend, boys. The DJ seems to have found, I guess, our song, Seven Nation Army, White Stripes. we've had it in the past. It's a big one for Logan McDonald. Oh,
Logan McDonald. Oh, Logan McDonald.
But we seem to have it after every goal on the weekend, and I got to say, it worked. It worked with almost any name you inserted in there.
Oh, Aaron McFrancis. Oh,
JJ
McJordan.
Yeah.
Oh, Joel McHamling. They're onto a winner. For years, we've been crying out for songs post-goal. None of this generic Marrickville factory rave songs that no one can get behind. At least Seven Nation Army gives us an entry to connection with players.
Yeah.
I mean, what are we doing? I love it. They should just do it for every single player who scores a goal. Just use that one song.
We'll get over
Keep
it
it
very
simple.
quickly.
Everyone knows the words. Just chuck a muck in the middle if there's not enough syllables.
Yep.
Easy, right?
Yep. Thanks, Logan.
Yeah. I mean, I still do like Errol. Errol works beautifully.
Oh, yeah. Errol
Yeah.
is.
He needs to.
He gets his
That's
own
like
song.
perfect. Don't
Yep.
mess with perfection. Yep.
Yeah. Nice work from the DJ, I got to say. And just got time for Merch Watch too. Actually came up with a jingle, boys. I hadn't run it past you, but it goes, pew, 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 pew. Merch Watch.
Yes. I love it. Beep, 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 pew. Merch Watch. Is that it? I love it.
You got it.
I got it.
So as the listeners will know, Noddy spends most of his disposable income on merch.
That's right.
But where are your eyes this week, mate? I will just say, I know we're not allowed to talk about previous grand final winners against the Swans or teams that we don't like, which is really anyone in the kind of top 8 at the moment. But I personally, my sister was a Brisbane Bears fan way back in the day. I really liked the Brisbane Bears nod on the Lions kit Sunday afternoon in the Q Clash. But where are you looking for your merch this week, Noddy?
Oh, the obvious one is the hot off the press 2025 Marn Crook Guernsey artist Jordan Ardler. Just looks really fresh and mint. White up top, red down, probably from Opera House below. Really love the Indigenous drawings on there. Really good colour. I got the last one with the Harbour Bridge. I didn't get the one before that. And I've had back to Adam Goods' mum, but I look forward to this Guernsey every year, and I think this is an absolute spectacular version, and I can't wait to get one. And I reckon I might get what number am I going to get? I'll probably get number 10 on there. Aaron Francis, yeah.
You know, I was watching him, and I was thinking back to my favourite number 10 ever for the Swans. We haven't. Anyone want to guess? Favourite number 10 ever for
Zach
the Swans?
Jones.
No.
Sam
Come on. Think about this. 1 quarter, 2 snaps.
Oh,
5 minutes.
No, he's 9.
He was 9.
Mitch Morton.
Remember
that? Remember that?
Yeah.
My! I often wonder what Mitch is. If you're out there, Mitch, we would love to have a chat, mate. Favorite number 10. And then I was looking, I thought Francis. Oh my God.
I actually saw a segment on Mitch Morton. I don't know why I said Wharton on the Sunday Footy Show. He was brought up by Nathan Brown about something, which was
there. You go. What's he doing now, Sammy?
Not a Scooby. Nathan Brown didn't know either. So, but he's out there and he used to play with Nathan Brown, so he was brought up. But there you go. Yeah.
So if by chance you're out there, Mitch, we would love it. You're my favourite number 10. I mean, I must say the Ginger Prince is running you close, but you still got my place in my heart for that quarter and those goals.
Rent free, mate. I will say in the video release of the Guernsey. Have you guys seen the video?
No.
Okay. Here's a question without notice. Which number Guernsey did they pull out and hint? It wasn't Aaron Francis.
37.
Number 5.
No. It was Gus the Bus Sheldrick.
Really?
Ooh, number 12.
Number 12.
Yeah. Look at that. So maybe I'll get a 12. Sorry, Aaron.
Someone needs to come in for Melican, and you've been desperate for Gus.
Yeah, not like for like, but he just deserves a full game, I think. But pew, 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 merch watch. What else you got, Harps?
I was at the merch store before the game. Always head over there.
Whoa.
Wait. Where were you?
Merch store.
Merch store. Yeah.
Love it.
Merch
Enjoying
store.
this new segment.
I head over there with my daughters before the game whenever we go and get a couple of badges. Often they don't know who they're buying, so they just pick a name based on the names they've heard on the train on the way in. But sold out were the DOS. We got the last two Hayden badges, and Bice totally sold out, maxed out. So
nice.
Fans are getting some of the cult players in early while they can.
That's it. DOS, nice Bice.
Got a Hayden one on my scarf next to Sam Reed from last year and Aaron Francis as well. So it's looking good now.
Perfect. Well, let's keep this new segment rolling because as you said, I do spend a lot of money on merch. I've got.
You sure do.
I heard it wasn't actually disposable income. I heard it was personal loans.
No comment. I'm not sure what you said there, but I'm absolving myself of all claims against. Yeah. Okay. Next segment.
I'm going to blow the final siren. Right. If you made it this far, listeners, thank you very much. If you're a fan of men's fashion or massively biased Swans chats. Yeah.
Well, hang on.
It could have been that biased because we didn't speak about the free kick count. So.
Oh.
Let's not. I know how strongly you both feel about that.
27-9.
27. If you made it this far and you listened all the way through, thank you very much. And we hope to see you again next week. We must have done something right, so give us a like and a follow.
Whether in person or on the potty, we look forward to whenever you can join us next time. But until then, up the Bloods and Kanye Swannies. Come on, Swans. Rolling on. Mad May. Here we go.